given the weather tonight, we're always a little bit, says lucky, but I think we have a pretty hardy crowd of people here, so you guys should congratulate yourselves for actually showing up, which is fantastic. So thank you very much. For anybody who doesn't really know what we do at Beat the Streets, this is going to take a couple of minutes, and I want to make sure I'm going to hand the mic over here to a much more important gentleman in a minute. So I want to just make sure everyone please work with us and try to be as quiet as possible. So Beat the Streets is an organization that was started about a decade ago down in Philadelphia, modeled after one here in Beat the Streets, New York. Once again, Beat the Streets, New York here as well. And we run wrestling programs and mentoring center down in Philadelphia. We started out with one program about 9 years ago, and now we're up to 30 programs with about 1,400 kids in the program. Quite honestly, it's humbling to be part of the organization, and it's okay. It's been a. All right. Please, I'm going to speak for one more minute, and we're going to give this to Harold. All right. You guys hear me? You guys, all right. All right. You guys okay? All right. All right. Listen, we run wrestling programs. We run mentoring center in Philadelphia. We got a whole bunch of coaches here and a whole bunch of kids. It's actually working. This night, every year, is extremely important for us because we really don't do a whole lot of fundraising, like informal events. This is our biggest event of the evening, biggest event of the year, and your help is what enables us to do what we do. So thank you very, very much for the generosity. I think this is the first time we've ever tried to do this, so I'm really going to ask for your help. We actually had a kid who was interested who was willing to come up and share his story with everybody. This is Harold Anderson. Harold Anderson, I met when he was in 7th grade at Belmont Charter School, and I'm certainly not going to steal any of his thunder, but this was a young man. When you walked into the room, you had 40, 50 kids running around a room. I immediately looked at this man, and no BS whatsoever, he's the leader of the room. You could see it. He was very, very excited. It was exciting just to see somebody be able to radiate that kind of leadership as a young man. Right? Fast forward a few years, he's standing here next to me. He's got a really, really compelling story to tell. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but I'd like everyone to just really try to just give him the respect and make it easy for him. This room is a challenging room to speak in, so if we can all just be really respectful and quiet. Harold, take away, buddy.
All right, thank you. So my name is Harold Anderson. I currently go to Penn Charter, which is a private school in East Falls section of Philadelphia. I will be going to the Wharton School of Business next year. I'm excited about that. Honestly, if you would have asked me where I was thinking about or even planning on going to college in 6th grade, I would have had absolutely just no idea. Not because I didn't think I was going to college, but just college, high school, those things weren't really in my mindset at the time because there wasn't really a difference to me as to where I could go and where my options was. Started school at Reynolds Elementary, then transferred. No, I started school at Darrell Elementary, then transferred to a school named Reynolds Elementary in North Philadelphia. Went there from 2nd to 6th grade, then 6th grade I transferred over to Belmont Charter School, which is where I went before Penn Charter. They're all from Reynolds, where typical public schools, pretty subpar in terms of quality. They're in communities of poverty, so they really didn't have the resources, and I knew this at the time. So I just made the best of my situation as everyone else did at the time. So middle of 6th grade, me and my family moved over to West Philadelphia, where we currently live, and my mom told me I would be starting a new school. And being in the middle of a school year, having lived, with my friends and they're my family for 4 years, I had really no want, and I really didn't want any part of this new school. I didn't really want to change schools, but with my mom being a parent, I didn't have a choice, so I had to go. But so it was a pretty smooth transition. I initially stayed to myself. I'm not going to do it. get there, it's a pretty smooth transition. One of the first people I meet is Ed McCabe. Let's see.
Where is that?
Right here. Here you go.
He's playing sports. I'm like, yeah, I play football. He's like, you should come out, try out for the wrestling team. Didn't have anything to do. I was pretty big for my age, so I figured why not. So started wrestling, and this was, I think the point in my life where I started to change the trajectory of my life. So the more and more I wrestled, I got better and better and better, and I started really crafting the fundamentals of wrestling with my athleticism. Then I was introduced to the Beat the Streets program, and before I continue this part of my story, I want to thank Beat the Streets, all their assistant staff, Chris Hanlon, Coach Chambers, and again, Coach McCabe, just for being, those initial people who supported me and knew I had this great potential. So if you guys would please help me with this. Before starting Beat the Streets, I really had no idea, what impact resources can have on a kid's life. I grew up in a neighborhood of poverty where, all the kids there didn't really have what they need to strive and be who they thought they could be. They were really marginalized down to stereotypes and, what other people accepted they can do. So as I joined Beat the Streets, I got on the traveling team, and I traveled. Went down to Wildwood for a few tournaments, and I wasn't nearly as good as the team we faced, so I would just get clobbered match after match. Could have quit, but I didn't because it was more of an eye-opening experience for me, the traveling, the coaches, the matches, the teams, all those things really, contribute to an experience that will help me propel myself into a good direction. So to really have access to these opportunities, helped me better as an athlete. But with the sport of wrestling, it created a dichotomy for me to make similarities out of these two contrasting realities, which was wrestling and then, my everyday life. And as much as Beat the Streets helped me with wrestling, they also helped me develop as a person. So when I started off, I didn't really appreciate the resources they had outside of wrestling. But as I got older and recognized, the more opportunities I was getting, I realized how much they help kids outside of just, developing them as wrestlers. There's the mentor programs, extra help, resources at home, school, whatever it may be. And this really, just help kids realize that if they apply themselves with these resources as much as they did wrestling, the same outcome and success that they would get in wrestling, they would get in life by applying themselves just as much as they did. And this is pretty much, what I did. And I think this captures the essence of wrestling, is that wrestling is a sport that I think brings you to the brink of your purpose. And you can either turn around and run, or you can sort of jump into the abyss and find yourself. And I chose to jump in and find myself. Tribute to this, wrestling is one of the hardest things, the hardest sports you can ever do, and it requires you to almost do the impossible. Beat someone stronger, faster than you. Win nationals, go to states, win a tournament. Beat someone no one else in the room thought you could beat but you. And as I accomplished all these different achievements, it propelled me to the next challenge, knowing that whatever I think is impossible at the next level, I know I can do it because I've already, defeated the impossible. So as I, translate and correlate all these lessons that I'm learning to my life, it made it simple in a way towards whatever I thought in my life was impossible wasn't really impossible, because I have, the potential and the, necessities within myself to get through those things. So, growing up as an African American male in a neighborhood of poverty is the hardest thing I've ever had to experience in my life. So it challenged me to not be a stereotype, really become what I want to in life, not let other people sort of marginalize me and dictate what I can be, and go to college. There's a lot of things that
that's just letting against me. And, once I started, kicking these doors down, I realized that the potential within myself is limitless, and I can really, do whatever I put my mind to. So, and I try to install this in all the kids that's, in my neighborhood, or all the kids that I come across, is that, a lot of the things you want to do that people may tell you can't do is more of a mental barrier than it is a physical barrier. Because once you realize what you have within yourself, then what you can achieve is just limitless. And it took me years of pain and failures to really come to this understanding, and being in a lot of life circumstances where I had inadequate resources, or my life at the time was just simply inadequate. I just didn't have it. And this is really where Beat the Streets came in to help me. And now I'm at a point where I can appreciate the resources that they offer outside of wrestling, along with the resources they offer with wrestling. Now I'm in an excellent high school now. I'm going to a fantastic college next year. And at the same time, though, I still acknowledge that I live in a neighborhood of poverty where these kids suffer from not receiving the things that they should have, and therefore not having the ability to unlock the light and just enormous potential that they have within themselves. So I take it within me to, take what I've now learned from Beat the Streets, which is, passing resources on to kids and giving them opportunities that I have to be in the same position. So one thing I've always taken from Beat the Streets is that, whenever I go through a door, I make sure that door stays open for the kids to go through it behind me and, find their own way. And just end by saying that when it comes to providing this way and this opportunity for kids to realize that they can be the world's next great, Beat the Streets is really on par with the best of them. And I will forever be, grateful to this organization, and one day hope to start nonprofit organizations of my own to help kids who don't have the resources, just as I was once helped. So, thank you.
I have very little, this thing on, I really have very little to say after that, quite honestly. That's remarkable. I think we could all listen to that for really the rest of the evening. What I would ask is, and I appreciate the generosity of this room already, to the extent that you guys feel led. If you feel led, and there are people here, if you'd like to try to provide those resources that Harold so eloquently just referred to, those resources that these student athletes in his age, in his neighborhood, that are trying to follow him through that same door, those resources, they can be. This is the stuff that Beat the Streets provides. If you feel led and you'd like to participate in that, you already have by being here. There are people here in the room who will take donations. This is the lifeblood of the organization. I think what we're doing is we're doing it well. We take these dollars, we spend them as efficiently as we possibly can, and so that we can create more stories just like this. That's it. So have a good night. Thank you for coming.